several people from presumably the other Zeal that you guys didn't know, and you realized that a lot of the people that left did not return. As they came through, Victoro was carrying the dead body of Genzetta, the Grand Master of the Zeal No More, and everyone kind of excused themselves into the temple, the altar, and he was laid upon the altar. Serena, Elrond started helping heal people that was injured. You guys kind of tended to things. Pops went and cleaned up and came in a little bit later, and some of you went outside and started helping build pyres to burn the ones that were dead that was brought back. Where we left off, people were taking the dead out. Sibo was just finishing up his spell practicing. Elrond decided to go say goodbye to Grandmaster Zeta, and Lamore found his way into the temple as well. And upon saying his goodbyes, Elrond found 2 puncture wounds in the side of the neck of Master Zeta. At this point, when Lamore walked in, you guys had a discussion about it, and as Lamore was walking back out, Victoro was walking by you coming into the Zeal. And that's where we'll pick up. So, you're leaving, going back out, I guess, to the courtyard, or?
Yes.
Victoro comes in, and he's looking very grim, sad. And he just stops by you, and he says, "A gloomy day. It's a sad loss."
Indeed it is.
And he looks in and sees you standing at the body. I know Elrond's known him for a while. It's tough. And he just puts his hand up on your shoulder and kind of shakes you and squeezes it. And then he walks home. He doesn't go into the temple. He doesn't go into the chapel area of the Zeal. At this point, Sibo, you hear what all's happened, and you come up towards the temple to where Genzetta is laying at the altar. The chapel area inside. You see Elrond standing at Genzetta's body. And you do see Lamore walking kind of away from the temple, or from the chapel.
Do I see anyone else that's not part of the group?
Right now, no, that's the only 2 you see.
I heard what happened.
And you notice that the scones inside the temple, inside the chapel area, usually a bright red, have somehow dimmed just a little bit, giving a lower light inside the room.
Have either of you heard anything of Master Geth?
Not a thing.
No.
Geth?
Yes. He worked at the Zeal. The other Zeal Freedom
Oh.
Invention.
Zeal.
Invention. Sorry.
Oh, I was getting ready to say the Zeal of Freedom is no more.
It's lost.
And you guys are outside helping put the bodies on these. Yes,
Yes, I was in the library doing research on everything that was going on to help understand.
you were. And you didn't really find anything because it was all kind of new-ish of what's going on, yes. So on your way back, you do kind of see Sibo go up towards the chapel area. You're outside helping. I'm assuming you're outside helping, and Arlen, you're outside helping put bodies on.
I probably would have followed Sibo and went inside and just kind of paid my respects.
I'm just standing at
You three are in there.
I'm just standing at the body and sort of mourning, but I was going to point out to the rest of you that did you happen to see these little marks on the side of his neck here?
Can I identify what did that to him?
You can make a medicine check.
Nisus.
I wouldn't say so because you wouldn't know anything about that. I mean, you don't even see what he's talking about.
Me see lots.
You're like, that might be zits, and you're over there trying to see if anything comes out of.
Stick my finger.
I'm pretty sure they're puncture wounds, but
They look kind of like zits to me.
the only thing I know that can make anything like that would be vampiric or maybe snakish.
Does it?
You're not there.
Does it taste acidic?
You're not there.
Like
You're not there.
Have your finger on
I'm
it.
not gonna taste it, Pops. I'm not.
He's not there. So outside, the sun is falling. The wind's still breezing a little bit. You guys start to set fires. The bodies start going up. And this all starts happening as everybody's kind of gathered around. Who's left of the Zeal anyway is gathered around. You guys come back out. Do you come back out?
Yes.
As you walk out, you do see people standing around. Kasa and Vince is kind of standing over to the side, and they look very deep in thought, especially Vince. Kasa looks like he always does, just stern and no emotion, basically. As you three come back out, he turns and looks at your group as y'all gather together. And he just turns back. And then you guys see another portal open as a few people start stepping through. He's a stoic looking elder elf comes through. Bald, an aged face, worn by time. He wears red and orange layered robes. You recognize immediate Master Geth from the Zeal of Invention comes in. He walks along and he just kind of circles around the area towards where Vance is, and he makes his way up and stands next to Vance, and he takes his hand and just kind of pats him on the back. A moment later, another portal opens. You see a tabaxi wearing a hooded robe, hand wraps on his hands and feet, dark gray fur. He comes in, walks up next to them, stands, puts his head down. And a moment later, another portal opens. A half-elf walks in, long white hair braided back down the center of his back. He's wearing crimson, red, and brown leathers. 2 daggers are strapped to his back, and a bow that you guys have never really seen before hangs over his arms. To one side, he's accompanied by a man wearing plated armor. He's wearing a long red cape, a helm over his head. You really can't see what he looks like. On his right arm, he carries a shield, and on the shield is a wreath of flowers. He walks up and stands next to Kasa. The elf walks around, stands next to the other two, and another elf steps out of the same portal. This one is another half-elf, a female. Blonde hair, falls loosely in curls. Same leathers, the crimson red and brown leathers as the other elf. She does not, however, go up to that side. She kind of makes her way around to the other side. Again, the same kind of bow. Looks very different. It's got a different shape than the bows that you guys are used to. Behind her walked out a bear, and just trundles over and sits down next to her, starts licking his arms. A moment later, another portal opens. A tiefling walks out, red skin, silver horns covered in what looks like earrings, loops, things of that nature. She's wearing a long, loose flowing black gown, thigh-high black boots. Burnt red hair falls in curls to her neckline. She walks with a bronze dragonborn. He is wearing a blue soft vest, black pants, and a long chain around his neck. A female elf, hair that is white with light blue tips, follows next. A dwarf, wearing silver rings on each finger, comes hobbling out. His beard comes down in 2 braids, completely bald. He has a warhammer hanging by his side. The last 2 are nicely dressed in very bright purples and silvers. The man, very immediately you can tell is an elf. He wears a silver crown on his head. And music comes with him. The lady that's next to him, as he walks in, his hand out, her hand on top. Short black hair, angular features, human, female.
Yeah.
Wearing a long flowing purple gown and on her head a silver crown. She looks, the crown itself looks like rose stems wrapped around her head.
Yeah.
Soft features that almost look angelic. Blonde and brown curls done up to a cascading braid. I'm sorry, the man's hair was black, not hers.
Okay.
Her sky blue eyes look at every single person, taking them in from head to toe. They make their way, their entire party makes their way around the entire courtyard. Immediately, people start taking knees as she comes and walks past. You recognize her very quickly.
I'll take a knee.
She looks at everybody as she walks by. The king and queen of Mali Asani. They follow their party up behind where Vance is, and they stand in place. The fires continue to burn. Slowly as they died down, you hear people whispering, making comments. The ones that had kneeled stood back up. The queen noticed the ones that didn't kneel in your party. You feel a hand come up behind you and take yours. You turn, and Noara's standing there.
Oh my god.
And she says, I don't want to be here. Can we go somewhere and talk?
Yeah, absolutely.
And she kind of leads you away. Okay. Everyone else, as the fires start dying down, you start noticing this lady, Queen Irena Asani, speaking to Vance. After a moment, as the fires start dying down even more, Vance starts to speak, and his voice is almost like it's coming over intercoms around you. It's echoing, even though he's barely raising his voice. It is a sad thing what has happened. The zeal of freedom is lost, was broken, and we have lost many people. Many who had families, many who knew each other here and loved each other here. Tomorrow morning, we will take Grandmaster Zeta and lay him to rest. All in attendance. Please, if you can, come. Pay respects. And it dies down. You see the Zeal members all the masters that was standing with Vance and the king and queen. And the members that came with the king and queen were the members of the council that you've met in Royal Landing. They make their way into a separate door and leave the area. The fires continue to die down. What are you guys doing?
Have I shared with everybody the research I did?
You're not there. You're with these guys.
I know I shared with you, Elrond.
Yes.
The bodies that were being burned, are they sufficiently burned, or do we need
They're still burning.
the bodies themselves, are they sufficiently burned? Or
Not yet. They're still.
do we need to add more fuel to it?
People's doing that.
Okay.
The other Zeal members are taking care of that. You kind of can tell that they have a group that take care of this kind of thing once this happens.
It constantly
Before-
adds fuel to the fire.
Then why don't we retire to our room before we have any discussion? Let's keep the sobriety of the moment and
I feel like that's respectful.
Yeah.
go to the room, and then we can talk about whatever we want to once we're there.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Sibo's gonna.
Bodies need more pepper.
I will go to the room. On the way, I'm gonna shake Sibo's hand and congratulate him. Congratulations.
Why?
Oh, I'm sorry, did I speak out of turn? Oh, never mind. And then walk onto the room.
Okay. As everybody starts going into the room, Noir leads you down the eastern path. It's a side exit
Are you gonna walk?
from the Zeal. It's going out towards the northeastern side, towards the school of the Ara Tahid, and she just walks in silence.
I'll just walk somewhat beside her, like letting her lead, but like rubbing her back and comforting her while I can.
And that goes on for a while. She walks a little ways with you. As you guys retire to your room.
Did he put something on my hand? Did you?
Make an investigation check.
Absolutely. It didn't work last time, dude. That's a 5. I don't know.
You, not that you can tell, I mean, there's oil
You may want to lick.
There's oil?
from where he was sweating from the fires.
You may want to lick it and taste it, see if it tastes acidic.
We just got done with the funeral. This is not the time. It's not the place to be playing jokes on SIBO. Not the time. That's
If you get
very
the right one,
disrespectful.
Maybe I
to James
am,
Evans.
maybe I'm not playing a joke. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't have said anything. I apologize. I spoke too soon.
I feel like he was congratulating you on the spells, but
On the spells? Is that what you were doing?
Forget I said anything.
I thought it was genuine if you were just asking.
it seems
You know
to
what,
me
I'm
like
just
you're
gonna-
assuming the worst here.
What do you expect? Yeah, I'm just gonna follow everybody else back to the room.
Okay, so you're all back in the room.
Guys, we just lost our master. I had to think of a word for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not to mention all of the lives lost there as well. Battle.
well, of course, yes, but I mean, the Zeal is.
Promotions all around.
This is a
Have you ever been to a funeral?
We're not at a funeral at the moment.
Couldn't remember even begin.
this spell is a great change in the Zeal. And those puncture marks lead me to believe that somehow his death was not anything coincidental.
Well, there's
Because there are things
Say it to them, you're in the room with them.
yeah, there are things that can do that, but I mean,
Just-
like The sea snake people. Forgot their name too.
Yarn.
I just have a clue.
You want to?
Something like that.
You're not there.
I just don't know.
You want me?
I hate it here. I hate it. That's not what I saw at all.
So do you fill them all in on the bite marks, the puncture wounds,
Yeah.
Or the acne.
and you fill them all in on the Black Dragon
Yeah.
research?
I'm filling them all in on the Black Dragon research.
During the Black Dragon talk, you recall that there was rumors that the mountain nearby, the Black Valley, that there was a rumors that there was a dragon residing in that mountain peaks. She continues walking. She doesn't say anything. She leads you away from the Zeal at this point. And she looks back and she just makes sure you're still there. And she just keeps walking. After about 30 or so minutes, you guys are back in the room. There's a knock on the door.
I'll go answer it. Yes.
Bill Run. Kasaw's standing there.
Hello.
Would you mind returning to the training field?
Okay.
Master Vance would like to speak to you if you would. He is waiting there now.
Okay. I'll head straight there. Let me tell my guys I'm heading out.
And he just turns and walks off without saying anything else.
Guys, I'll be back in a moment. It seems I'm being requested at the training field. Okay.
I thought you were like, don't do it.
Everyone have strange customs.
I do indeed.
Wait, what?
You waved goodbye with me with a finger.
That's how the Dragonborn do it.
So,
I mean, judge not. Okay.
remind me again, the Black Dragon. Why is it that you were doing research on into a Black Dragon?
We were told that we would have to face, this Black Dragon, and I thought, well, I know nothing.
For what? I mean, for what purpose are we facing a Black Dragon?
That's a very good question.
Did the Zeal ask us to do
Zeal
this?
asked
The
us.
Zeal asked us
Did they give us a reason why this Black Dragon needed to be eradicated?
Yes.
We were asked to hunt down a black dragon that's been plaguing the Asani Plains. So basically, this black dragon's been terrorizing.
He's been mean.
Mean dragon, bad.
Mean, bad dragon.
Well, there-
Very bad.
Very mean.
In the Black Forest, there's a peak called High Peak, and there's tales of a Black Dragon there. I don't know if it's the same Black Dragon
Is it mean?
dealing with if it's at the plains, unless the plains are right next to the peak.
The Asani Plains is the mass of the center of Monte Asani. So where the Asani Plains go up towards the spires is where the Black Valley is, in that area where you're
Okay,
from.
so it
So it's
would be
right
there.
in there in that area.
Okay, so this is probably, this Black Dragon that I've known about is probably the one that we're supposed to deal with.
Makes sense because my research showed that they like to stay in swampy, wooded, or mountainous areas.
Okay.
Have you noticed a lot of insects in that area?
Well,
Just based off of my research, there's usually like lots of insects close to their habitat.
Bugs.
In bad water.
In bad water,
water.
dense
You
fog.
gotta think about how high up a mountain peak is and how many miles that reaches out from. It would not actually affect the valley area that he's in.
Yeah. I just want to make sure on something before I say it.
Or yeah, have you already left to go?
Yeah, I left. I'm out. Headed towards the training field.
So, at nighttime.
This is actually, the valley that we're talking about is the valley we just came from. It's a High Peak, it's just on the other end, on the end of it. And so if we just keep going further, it's my valley.
Okay.
So
Where-
I didn't
Where
notice
your valley is, it would be to the west.
to the west.
Yes.
Okay, but I mean, it's
going the same
going
direction.
up. I mean, we had gone up part way
Yeah,
to my place, but we're talking High Peak is further up
towards the west.
to the west.
Okay.
So as you walk outside,
That'd be a good place to
you've noticed at this point that most of everything's been cleaned up already. The bodies are gone. The pyres have been taken down. They work quickly, yes.
Gee whiz.
As you walk up, Master Vance is standing and he's looking at the sky towards the moon, and it is very full, very bright.
I'll go stand next to him and look up at the moon as well.
You right.
As you do, and you do look up, he says, "She weaves very strange webs, the moon weaver. For the price of love, we both stand here tonight." Recent tragedies.
I'm not interested. I'm not responsible.
Alandria. You miss her.
Very much so.
You know she's in the Feywild. And you know why she was sent to the Feywild. And that was Master Zeta's punishment. He turns. And there's no one else in the training yard. And then he turns back to you and he puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, "You know that I'm to be named the Grand Master of the Zeal. And you know that I can make changes that Master Zeta put forth."
I do indeed. Did you... Are you going to reverse?
It wouldn't be easy, would it? And he looks back up at the moon. But I think I can. I've been with Master Zeta almost since the beginning. I think a lot of people would listen to me. And I think I can sway that decision. But the group you're leading, I guess, pseudo-leading, I need you and Sibo and Lamore. There's things that need to be done. And I think you three can handle it. But how do you feel about the other four that's been traveling in your companionship here lately?
They're a good group. We're not all the sharpest knives in the shed, but we generally get along well.
Why are there knives in the shed?
Generally.
I want to raise you and Sibo and Lamore. Not to be released, but close. In exchange for doing this and for lifting the banishment, would you be okay taking care of some issues? Master Zeta was working on something really important, and I intend to finish it. There's some artifacts that were left after times of war, scattered across the lands, and I would like to collect them. You know, giving and receiving is two ends of the same pole. If I can give you back the one you love, plus a daughter is out here. By doing this for me, you can help me be returned to someone I love.
I'll do anything if it means getting Alondria and my daughter back with me.
He puts his hand on your shoulder again. He sticks out his other hand to shake yours.
Shake his hand.
Good. She does weave many webs.
Mysteriously. Ominously.
I hope you rest well tonight.
You as well.
And he just turns and walks back towards that one door.
I'll head back to the room.
What are you guys doing?
Is my raccoon still passed out?
Your raccoon is not passed out. It is just sitting there. It's not as timid as it was. It's not skittish. It's just kind of sitting, watching, beady little eyes.
Alright. I will attempt to train it.
Okay. What are you trying to do with it?
Just giving out some rations and just kind of prodding it to do things, or at least get it.
What things?
Yeah, like what things?
Just like follow like simple commands like go, attack, stay.
You can try going a stay. I wouldn't say attack right now.
Okay.
I don't think it would do that if it can't do go and stay. So make a animal handling check. 2 of them.
20
Okay.
and a 7.
So as you open the cage, it really doesn't want to come out, and you keep kind of teasing it with the ration. What are you saying to it to make it come to you?
Rock it.
And you keep doing that. Finally, it does shoot out, and it kind of hesitates because all these people. Then it runs up to your arm and it kind of grabs your arm. This time not with the claws out, but it grabs your arm and grabs the finger and starts gnawing on it.
My fingers or the ration?
The ration, the meat that you have.
Good question.
Nummy furry finger.
Alright. I will just kind of just sit there.
You give it a moment, you back up, and you. What are you trying to get it to stay? What command word?
Stay.
You do that, and it follows you, trying to get the ration again. Keeps following you. As much as you back up, it keeps following you. Finally, after a few moments, you just kind of give in and let it get attached to your fingers again and start eating the rations.
Okay.
You before doing anything?
I'm gonna cast Find Familiar.
Find what?
Find Familiar.
So you go off by yourself and start doing that? Okay.
You said you 4. Am I part of that?
Yes, you, Pops,
1, 3.
Serena.
Barbarian humor.
Book.
Which book?
Smart book.
That's the one.
You only have comic books and picture books at this moment in your collection?
Are we in the Zeal?
Yes.
Library.
So you're going to a library? Okay.
What's rocking with you?
You.
I lost my pet tiger.
So
where is
the
it?
tiger's with you.
Okay.
Are you taking it to the library with you?
Yeah,
Okay. You head towards the library.
Tiger in the library.
Better than a black dragon in the library. Pops, are you doing anything?
What time is it roughly?
It's getting to be about 8:30ish.
In the evening?
Yes.
How long the barn I've been talking
A while.
I'm probably gonna get.
You're almost at the college of the bards.
to. So long as we're
I'm gonna get some food and then I'm gonna hit the hay.
Okay.
Wait.
We are live.
Tomorrow we have a big day. We've
We're
got this
live.
funeral thing going on.
Are you doing anything, Serena?
I think I'm actually gonna go take a bath.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you head down to the bathing areas downstairs. Yes.
Nice hot bath.
And you head towards the canteen to gain some food. Okay.
20 days is gonna be a long time. Oh my goodness.
I can't wait to be on the road again.
You get closer and closer to the... Sorry. You get closer and closer to the arcade. And once you're there, she stops and turns around and she looks at you and says, Lord,
Yes,
do you trust me?
completely.
Her wings spread out. And she grabs you in a full-on bear hug and lifts you up.
She is terrified. And is holding on. And kind of like, oh, please don't drop me, please don't drop me, please don't drop me.
After a few moments, you land on top of the arcade. And she sets you down, wings lower back down. She runs over to the eastern side towards the residential area and she says,
I will give you all this.
I will show you the world.
If you will kneel down. That might be.
She says, can you
What is
see?
that dark place over there?
That is your house.
It's next to Lion King in the Bible.
She says, can you see your home? And she kind of like leans up, one foot back in the air, looking over. Can you see your home from here?
There's
I
the
don't know,
dark house over there.
I mean, it's kind of destroyed too.
You can kind of see the area of it, yes.
I'll point it to him, like, it's right over there. You know, I've never seen the city from like this.
You're up really high.
Like, this is really high, no, like, I've never been up here. Like, I've snuck out to, like, the bottom donkey hole, but, like, this is a whole
The best name.
For our viewers.
Viewers, that is a...
That's the name of the bar.
There might be a couple little signs coming out of the page.
She looks at you and she says, do you miss your home?
I miss my mother, but I don't miss home.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah, absolutely.
When I left, after you all dropped me off with Master Vance, we went to Trisdesic, to the Zeal creation, and it was marvelous. It was beautiful. It's such a peaceful continent. I went southward from there alone. At 9 years old, I was sent southward. I was to find a trail that led underground to a mighty temple. The temple was covered in foliage, and it was greens and blues I had never seen before. And I was scared, to be honest.
When I walk up to her and I'll hold her hand while she's talking and listen.
She smiles. I found my courage. Inside it was mostly dark, and it felt like days wandering around in there. It was like a labyrinth. But I finally found the center chamber, and it was lit with internal flames, and I saw the most majestic being. It was a dark blue sphinx with a golden mane and golden fingertips, nails, whatever you would call it. To a child, it looked like a giant toy. But then it spoke. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of peed myself.
You're doing better than Zeal. He has to have a bathroom.
He's shorter than me, so I can see that. I think even at 9 years old, he was shorter than me.
Probably. And he's like a 30-year-old man.
I'm in my 20s.
You're not there. I'm not allowed to talk about what happened.
We did
But-
the earpieces.
Look at me. And she spins, wings out, and she stops and looks back at you and she's like, I grew, not just in age, but I have my courage, and I have this. And she pulls a sword out. There's a diamond in the pommel of the sword. And the entire sword, the rest of it looks like it's constructed of one single piece of material. You don't know what kind. She looks at it and she says, its true name I can't pronounce, but the translation is called Answer. She puts it back in. If you'd have seen how many lives I just took with that to save people we care about, or I care about. But this, and she pulls out a staff, and it's a golden rod with intertwining two rods, and at the top they meet, and it looks like two heads looking at each other, faceless heads. This was my reward from the Sphinx. The sword was from Master Vance. Do you trust me?
Yes, I do.
I want to tell you something.
Yes.
And if it works, I ask that you don't share it with anybody because I can get in trouble.
No, what's wrong?
She lays the rod down across the ledge of the building, and she looks out again towards your home. Master Vance and Kassa, I went with them to your house. And Master Vance spoke to your father. And even though your father was pinned against the wall with his throat in Master Vance's hands, he explained why your mother was taken. Did you know your father was a general in Zeal's army?
I know he was a general, and I know that he had ties with Zeal. I honestly thought that it was something here until everything happened.
I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to kill him. After what he did to Arlen and myself, I wanted to kill him. And to be honest, if it was now, after what happened in the Freelands, I probably would. But at the moment, I was restrained. I didn't. You, his firstborn daughter, was promised to Zeal so that he could leave her army and come to the material plane and start a life. But when you break a contract, somebody's life is forfeited, and your mother was forfeited. When you rebelled and rescued Arlen and myself, you broke the deal. And the cost was the servitude of your mother, and the demon that took her, his name is Manor. A pit fiend who's an ambassador of sorts between Zeal and well, I want to show you. She grabs the rod and she grabs your arm, and the golden rod shimmers and a bright radiant light sparks and vibrates. A moment later, her eyes light up white, and you feel like every particle of your body is going to explode, and you feel it expanding, and then ice coldness fills you, until a moment later you are filled with raging heat. Smells fill your nose of cold. You look down and see black rocks under your feet, glassy, covered. Next to you is a giant mountainside. Heat radiating off of it, heat radiating off the ground. The smell of sulfur and bile. You look up and you see in the sky towards the south a giant, enormous rock with chains spanning out into nowhere that you can see. The sky is full of red clouds. Meteors shooting across. You hear screams coming from all around you. You look around the rock line and you see a tent, probably about 100 yards away from you. She grabs you and slides you to the side of the rock. Moment passes. The heat is getting more intense. It's getting harder to breathe. And then you see him walk out of the tent. The giant pit fiend that took your mother. He walks out and he turns back towards the tent, and a red dragonborn covered in plate armor walks out behind him, carrying a giant shield with a visage of 5 heads of dragons coming from a center spot. Can't make out what they're saying from the distance, but all of a sudden you feel the earth shake. Pebbles start coming down the mountainside next to you. All of a sudden you hear explosions in the background. Again. Out of the mist, out of the clouds, you see 5 heads. A red, a black, a blue, a green, and a white. 5 heads looking around. You hear the presence fill your entire being. 4 of the heads start looking around as the center one, the red one, looks down upon the pit fiend. Noir sees how scared you are. You hear the vibration of the bright light. 3 of the heads look in your direction. And you're back on the rooftops. I'm sorry. I didn't know what we would see. I was hoping to get closer to your mother.
That was Tim.
But we can do it. We can save her.
I need so much time and resources with Noir, and I'm gonna stand up and I'm shaking. Like her hands are shaking, and I'm just gonna grab her and she's gonna say, "You just gave me the most hope that I've had since my mother was taken. Thank you so much."
At least she wasn't laying there in pieces. That means there's a chance.
She wouldn't be killed because she's my replacement. They tried to keep her alive. But promise me this, Noir. You will not go back there alone.
No. But promise me not to tell anybody, because Master Vince would kill me, probably.
Yes, me too. I can't believe we saw Tiamat and lived.
In the distance, towards the west, you look, make a perception check.
Oh God.
See where I followed you.
You make out something flying through the air in the distance. A long body, serpentine style through the air.
Oh, okay. Thanks, so it's just a black dragon.
Laura grabs your hands again. I'm sorry, grabs your hand. Laura, can I go with you?
Back to Everest or back to...
To kill the dragon that you're going to kill.
Absolutely, yes please.
I'm not sure if we'll be capable, but if you die, I would hate myself not being there.
I'm not going to die.
And Arlen, well, I owe him one, and I'm sure that I could save his life if nobody else's.
I think I've saved his life a couple of times by now. It's not that hard. He's a little bit stupid.
Shh, that's mean.
He's a barbarian.
That makes
My right
sense.
ear burn.
Actually, yeah, your ear is kind of burning while you're sitting in the library looking for books.
don't know why, thank you. That was the scariest but most hopeful experience I've had.
We better get back. And she grabs you and
This time I'm like running up.
she like backfalls off the building with you
I'm not ready, I'm
and
not ready.
glides back down towards the ground. And the walk back, she's very silent. But she does hold your hand and walks with you. So while that was going on,
You know why they call them pops? Because you get the best in every bite. Up top. Come on.
Alright.
not his hand. I mean,
Listen. Alright.
Pops, what do you get to eat? He's zoned out.
I'll have what he's having.
It's my uncle's tractor this afternoon.
Oh, wow.
That happened.
Oh my goodness.
It's on.
I just now,
okay?
just now saw that.
Fire.
He says that he was baling hay. This is in Idaho. He was baling hay. And he stopped the tractor, turned it off, was walking to the house, looked back 5 minutes later, and that's what it was like.
I mean, praise God he wasn't on.
Yeah, I'm glad he wasn't in it. Okay, so what am I going to have to eat?
What did you go to eat?
Do they have lasagna?
No, they don't. They're not that advanced.
It's a boat to Garfield.
Okay, I can do whatever.
Today,
They do have roasted goose.
Roasted goose.
Yeah.
Do they have fried?
I mean, you could probably ask them to fix up some fried goose.
Okay.
Did the frost coming?
But then I'll have some goose.
It takes a little bit to get it fixed up for you. They give you some bread. It's like cornmeal bread,
Yeah.
and whatever you want to drink. They have some wine and they have some water, and they actually have some goat milk.
Okay. Hey, Lamore, we probably don't need to. No one seems to have talked to Sibo about what's going to happen tomorrow. We probably don't need to share with him anything.
Are you talking about the mayoral?
And so that everyone can hear that.
But he has one.
Oh, Pop.
You have a mustache.
There is a lot of butter.
Oh, Pops. You thought you were
Sorry, Sibo. You didn't get it.
you were pulling a sneaky one, but I have one too.
Sorry.
So are we talking?
No, you weren't.
Are we talking about the dinner that we were invited to?
Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about.
We have
Yeah.
As you're talking, a hand reaches down and touches your shoulder. You look up and it's Kasa.
How are you doing?
Oh.
Can I help you with something?
I'm doing as good as I can be.
A sword, perhaps.
Would you mind going to Master Vance's private study?
He wants another.
He would like to speak to you if you don't mind.
Sure. I'll be glad to. Can I finish my food real quick?
Oh, yes.
I mean,
Take your time. He'll be there for a little bit. When you go down the east quarters,
Okay.
it'll be the room 3 doors down from the main chapel.
Okay.
He's there.
Okay. I'll be there in just a few minutes. Let me just finish this up.
Looks like good chicken. Goose.
Goose. Yes, goose.
I'm gonna get me some. And he walks up to go get him some.
All right.
Sibo.
As soon as I can, I'll finish up and then go.
Sibo. You light your incense.
Yeah, I do.
You start meditating. You hear somewhere in the back of your head, it's been a while since someone has called me. In the room where you're sitting, you open your eyes and there's a shadow coming across the floor, and it circles around and it goes all the way around, and then all of a sudden you feel 2 hands come up over your shoulders while you're sitting on the floor, and it reaches around faceless and looks at you. you'll be fun to be around. What's your name?
Pops.
Ah, but you lied to me.
Yeah, I just like.
Cold chills are running up your spine. The hairs on your neck are standing on end. You feel breath, cold, come across your neckline.
Thought you were a wizard.
So what is your name?
People call me Sibo.
The hand runs up your head,
What is your quest?
and he turns your head directly towards you.
What is your
My name, you couldn't say in your language, but where I'm from, and he relaxes a moment, there was a warrior in Fables. They called him Lancelot. You can call me that.
Can I call you Lance for short? You know.
He turns your head to him again and says, Lancelot!
Lancelot. Absolutely. Can I ask?
And the shadow goes down and kind of goes back from you, and it's incorporated in the carpet. The head, the only thing arise looking at you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Were you the voices that I was hearing in the one house, or is that a different set of?
You just called me. Why would I have called earlier?
I'm hearing two sets. No.
Some things I'm not capable of helping with. Sibo.
Like insanity.
How are you with practical joking? You play good practical jokes?
I like.
Lancelot.
Sure.
Well, I have this guy named Pops, and let me tell you, I want you to make his life awful. But in like a safe way, just more of like a, I totally got you kind of way. Don't like hurt him.
The shadow goes down and dissipates into many little particles.
Wait, don't take that the wrong way. Oh no.
A moment later,
About to be awful.
a moment later, you hear the door to the room you're sitting in.
Is that you, voice?
A
Lancelot?
muzzle, and then feet come in, and in front of you stands a mastiff as it walks in and looks around. Its tongue lolls out,
I'm gonna die.
You're gonna become a chew toy.
and it slowly makes its way over towards you,
Good boy.
and then it licks your face, leaving a trail of slobber,
familiar?
and then it lays down next to you, not cuddling towards you, next to you with space between you two, and it just lays there and puts its head down.
I'm just gonna like lean in, like Lancelot.
I'm sorry.
You got it.
I'm gonna. Good boy.
And it kind of like
An amplifier.
back away from your hand just a little bit. You hear a voice in your head. Trust is earned, not given.
You can trust me.
The person who did this lied to it.
Hey, listen. I lied to protect myself. You get that, right? Right.
It just lays there.
All right. Well, all right. I'm gonna get up to leave it. Here, boy.
It doesn't follow you. You do hear in the back of your mind
You want to know what? I'm gonna go back. You can follow me or not. I don't really care. Just turn around and walk back.
so you head back towards y'all's shared room.
Is it following me?
No, he's laying there.
Please.
Please, boy.
You're not even a good familiar. Come on.
So what's Arlen doing in the library?
Okay, did the Mastiff just open a door?
You don't know, you weren't there?
Out of character, did the Mastiff just open a door?
It's a demon in a mastiff body. You probably could do anything it wanted.
You could do what you want when you're a demon in a
Let me
mask.
read Smart Book.
Through all of the books you find a reference book on gardening. And you find interest in it. and you start looking at the pretty flowers, and you start trying to figure out how does sun and water make something grow. And then make an intelligence check.
Also sensitized.
Everyone's learning about photosynthesis.
Can water and sun make me grow bigger?
I'm trying really hard. I just want you to know that.
Arlen learns about photosynthesis.
As you're thinking that out loud, Rocky's like, meow. It sits down in the forest.
We got you covered.
Arlen the herbalist.
Why do I feel like Miss Friends from like the magic school bus right now?
He keeps jumping off hands. So
As you get back to the Zeal, she hugs you. Thank you, Laura.
Absolutely. Anytime that you need me, I'm always here.
I'll see you in the morning.
Yes,
Will you sit next to me?
yes. Oh, tomorrow we have a mayoral dinner. Do you want to come with us?
I don't know if I'll be able to. Let me ask Master Vance if I have anything I need to do.
Absolutely.
And she hugs you, and then she runs off towards the one side.
She's gonna be smiling and walking back to the room like this is it.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, I think I'm done with my bath.
You're done?
I'm done.
Dried off?
I'm dried
You've
off.
toweled?
I'm redressed. I'm heading back up to the room so I can do my nightly,
So you're putting your armor back on to go back to the room.
I'm carrying my arm.
Okay, well you said you dressed. I thought you meant put
I
the armor
mean-
back on.
I at least have, I'm decent.
She's put on her nice terry cloth robe with her bunny slippers and a nice big fluffy towel.
It's better than the slippers Arlen's got that every time he takes a step it goes.
Spirit slippers, sorry.
The cat slippers at meow every time you
Jock,
step.
on one on each foot.
Shocking you.
Okay, I have a mastiff who doesn't love me now.
As you're walking back towards the corridors for people, you pass the library and you see Rocky and Arlen sitting at the table. Arlen's got a book about gardening.
Do I hear?
You hear him say, "Does water and sunlight make me grow?"
No, brother.
It amazes me that I'm that stupid.
Tomorrow we're going to see him sunbathing in a kiddie pool.
Like listening to fit.
During the funeral.
It's just a torso.
He fills that little divot that we were wrestling in and with water and is just laying there in his
I
mud.
love it.
You do have frost breath, right? Like you're
Yeah, he does.
He's just gonna be standing in a bucket, just
1 foot in 2 5-gallon buckets. You'll get there. You'll get there.
Bury him so
Even worse,
deep
if
in
the
soil.
thunderstorm came along and he was looking up and drowned. That would
It's gonna be a long time before that intelligence.
Could we not wish bad things on my
Let's
brother?
not give your brother ideas.
I mean, please. He's very impressionable.
So after a little bit, you make your way down.
Yeah.
As you knock on the door, you hear Vance. Enter.
Go in.
The room is about 30 foot by 50 foot. And along the eastern wall, you see a 10-tier bookshelf covering the entire span of the wall.
Oh, wow.
Along the south wall are 2 long tables covered with beakers and alchemy items. The other table is a writing desk, and he's sitting there behind it, and there's a chair on the other side as well. The wall behind him is decorated from different items, just things that you can tell he's probably picked up around all of Samoria. There's a large 4-post bed along the western wall and a wardrobe. In front of Vance, laying open, is a book, and a quill and a bottle sits next to it. Welcome, Pop Tree. See?
Sure. Thank you very much. As I walk over there, I'm going to glance at the bookcase and just see if I can note any of the titles as I go.
Make a intelligence check.
Okay. 16.
You get the feeling there's something going on because you can't read any of the titles.
Okay.
It almost looks like there's a mist, just enough to vague out the titles and what the books actually look like and everything.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, and I'll sit down.
Do you know what this is? And he slides the parchment over to you.
Okay, I'm gonna look at it. Do I know what it is?
You do. It's a symbol
Okay. Yes, it's a symbol.
of Kasuth.
Okay. Yes, I do. Where did you find this?
You find it in just about any books about primordials and gods.
What's it have to do with me?
You don't recall meeting me, do you?
Oh, I've met you since I've been here, but before that, you mean?
I may be wrong. You look familiar.
Okay.
I was just wondering. 36 years ago, a man that looked like you. You ever been to the city of brass?
Not that I know of, but I will tell you this. I have very little memory of what happened to me before about 2 years ago. Very little memory. In fact, I could have been, I guess.
The man I'm thinking of was a well-respected man at the Onyx Tower, city of brass in the fire elemental plane.
Yeah.
Maybe you just look like him. I don't know. He stands up and he walks, and he slides the parchment back over.
Tell me a little more about this man. What was he like?
Elrond speaks highly of your entire group. You seem to be the oldest, so I'm guessing you're probably the wisest of all of them.
I hope so. I'm sure there are those that would question that, but as with anybody, that goes without saying. We have our moments.
I was wondering if things were different. If I changed some of the rules of the Zeal, would you want to join?
Yeah, I guess it would depend upon the changes.
Well, the changes being that usually we look for specific arcane users, trackers, things of that nature. To me, you may be a tracker, but you don't look much of an arcane user.
No. In fact, I'm not terribly fond of magic users in general. but they have their place. They do have their place.
Well, we've been around quite a while.
Yeah.
And as he walks over, you see him pull a box out from underneath one of the shelves across the back wall where the alchemy set is. And he brings it over and sets it down on the desk. Joining the Zeal comes with a lot of benefits, but it also comes with gifts. Now, each one of my Zeal members, I've given special things to. If you would join, take it for a trial run if you want, you could have this. It reminds me of you. I think you might like it.
Well,
the box he slides over towards you.
Before I look in this box,
and the box is about, it's long, narrow, and it's like a cherry wood box.
Before I look in this box, gifts and benefits are all well and good. But what are the requirements and obligations that come with being a member of the Zeal? Because as much as I like the benefits and things that the good things that come, I'm interested in the chains that tie us down. As you said, I'm older. And if I make obligations now, they're probably with me until the end.
We're not marrying.
Well,
It's not till death do you part. Although some of our people do die,
I was
apparently.
going to say, I'm no disrespect intended, but based on what I've seen today, I think there's a good chance. And in particular, I'm 53 years old,
I'm glad you do that.
and I am curious what obligations do come with me accepting this box.
For you, I spoke to Elrond earlier tonight. You seem to be working well with his team. I'm going to set his team on a special mission collecting some artifacts that Grandmaster Zeta wanted. A, to keep them out of the hands of people who might use them for harm. B, some of them I can use to help the Zeal maintain peace, maintain order. The Queen and I work closely together, and it'll be even closer now that I will be named the new Grand Master. That's all we ask. Collect the artifacts, keep each other safe in your group. If not for a chance of coin, for a chance to kill things that need to be eradicated from the world.
That sounds fair to me. I have one request. Having these holes in my memory, I don't like.
So maybe you'll find truth.
If you can help me in the pursuit of my past, I'd be glad to. I'm interested. I'd like to know what happened to those 50 years that I no longer remember.
I will do my best to research it. The Zeal has a lot of research. We have ways of finding out things. And it'd be something that we can do for you, yes.
Sir, I will say this. Your group seems honorable, and the ideals that they stand for, I agree with. The gentlemen that I've worked with that are members of the Zeal, they are good men. I must say that I give Sibo a hard time, and that's probably not going to stop. But he is a good man. He is a good man, and I would be honored. I would be honored.
Hey, listen.
And I will.
You open this, and you see a long sword made of a single piece of obsidian, and in the hilt is a ruby, dark. He looks at you as you look at it. That was forged in the Onyx Tower in the likeness of a legendary sword, Figarsh. Common word is final word. For hundreds of years, there were only 9 of these swords, until 50 years ago. Kesatunanathar, the questioner, was brought to life. I saw the man who last used it. He killed the Sultan Morak of the Afridi, after which one thought it was lost, but I was able to retrieve it from the lair of which it, the lava in which it fell in. We call that sword the Questioner. Give it a try. It's yours.
I'm gonna reach in and grab the hilt.
Call it personal insurance to rid us of that black dragon. And if you decide not to join the Zeal in the long run, keep it. May come in handy one day.
If I don't stay with you, then I will not keep it. I cannot. I won't. But so I'll grab the hilt.
It feels right. It feels comfortable.
Okay.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom save.
Yes.
13.
As you take it and you pick it up, your eyes catch the ruby, and immediately you look around and you see a world covered by fire. You see a wave wash over it. You hear cries and screams. Darkness, and then a single flame again. The symbol that was on the parchment paper appears in the flame, and all of a sudden you're back looking at the sword.
Okay. What does this have any special uses or special requirements to it?
Take your time with it. See what you like.
All right. Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
And I turn around and leave.
As you leave, he walks out behind you and goes the opposite direction.
Okay.
And you do notice as you leave and he leaves and the door shuts, you hear
Yeah.
you have in your possession Sword of Answering.
Sort of.
It should be in the book.
Okay.
Sword of Lies.
Serena,
Yeah. Stop. I'm here.
Arlen,
Yes.
you two are still in the library, hanging out with Rocky.
When did she get here?
She walked in whenever you were talking about watering yourself.
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis.
There are dependent variables and there are independent variables. I'm probably a dependent variable.
I think you are a variable. And I love you.
Huh? What happened?
As you're talking, you look and coming down the aisle, carrying two maps,
Was the groom?
is Master Vance.
Oh.
And he's coming right toward you two.
Can I hide?
Just
We're
real
in a
quick.
library.
It's called the Questioner.
It doesn't exist. It's something I made.
Okay.
But it's the same benefits.
Same benefits, and it is my same alignment.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's what I need to know.
Lady Serena,
Master Vance.
King Arlen, may I speak to you?
That's the first time I've ever heard anybody refer to you as king.
Hopefully it will not be last. He drops the two maps on the table in front of you. I've been studying you two since you joined Elron, Sibo, and Lamore's group. I don't just agree to the fact that you were robbed of your mountain. I feel like you should take it back. I hear that there's a new king of the mountain sitting in your throne. Please, have a seat. And then he sits down and he rolls out the maps. I've had a few of the Zeal studying your case of Mount Dorloff and what's going on. Seems that the white dragon that's overtaking your people, he's pretty well known. His name is Ingluk Ostamazilian. In your common tongue, the Icing Death. He was thought to have been killed in the year 1356 in Reghad, but it seems that the history was written wrong, and apparently some of our library books needs to be redone and updated. The ancient dragon, though, sits on your birthright, right, Arlen? I've spoken to the Queen. She has decided that if you and your Dragonborn prove yourself to her and worthy, that she will assist you in sending her royal arms to the mountain and assist in your rebellion when you are ready. But it does come with a cost of signing a peace treaty, one that will actually say that you will come to her aid in times of war. One that will also issue trade between Mount Dorloff and Maliasani
Okay.
beyond what we already had in agreements. But I also offer you something. Yes, Lady Serena.
I was just going to converse with my brother that he should actually find out the particulars of this peace treaty. What exactly?
I know I have to sign it. I mean, I have to, like,
I know,
read
but
it.
you should find out like what exactly, as far as trade that they.
Oh, it would just be for more of the gold and veins,
This is me, little Simba.
iron.
Can't wait to be king. Come on. Okay, I knew that one.
Please beware. I gotta see the king of
Yeah, that's
beasts.
good enough.
Quite some little hair.
Literally, because
I have a proposition for you two as well. To join the Zeal. It'll give you unlimited strength and tactics. And the Zeal will also be at your aid.
Trying to see where I am.
What do you say? King of the mountain.
Okay, I'm out of character. I'm really lost right now. Do I have to like sign the thing?
Not right now.
not
Okay.
just yet, but
So what does joining the Zeal give me?
Joining the Zeal gives you access to the Zeal.
But I already have access to the Zeal.
You have limited access to the Zeal. By being a member, that means that we are a brotherhood and we will assist you. You will have the World Arms. You will have the Zeal at your aid. You will have these Dragonborns that follow you.
I'll sleep on it.
Do. And then he points at the mount, right at Mount Dorloff. This is yours. We can help you reclaim it. Lady Serena, may I talk to you alone?
yeah, I'll be right back, brother.
Okay.
You were a student of Thesserol.
Yes,
Do you know anything about how you got there?
just that I was left there as an infant.
I've made this one promise tonight already. I can make a second. If you join the Zeal, we will help find out where you came from.
In my only question is, if I were to join the Zeal, would they recognize that my devotion to the Platinum Dragon comes
We have many people that follow
first?
Bahamut.
Okay. I just
Well, we don't change your religion. We just
Well-
train you and help you learn more stuff. Your friend Elron worships the moon goddess.
What the hell was that? Why?
Your
Are you
friend,
still thinking about my melons?
your friend Sibo worships technology. Your friend, your brother, he's a cord worshiper.
Well, I don't worship corn.
Study the maps, young king.
I'm not there.
Okay, I'm hoping he'll put me as an advisor.
Oh man.
I love my brother.
Your brother, as king, would need to appoint someone to the council of Mali Asani. Maybe it should be you.
I mean, that would be his decision to make.
I'm not there.
Well, we can see you.
Where am I?
Keep looking at your book. Let's walk farther.
Look at the maps.
He kind of leads you out of the library, out of his view.
I can't say it's not tempting to find out where I come from.
Where did you go?
But at the same time, it is also a little scary and unnerving. All I've known are you know, are those gentlemen up there that
And
train me.
Therasol is destroyed from what I hear. From what we've been told, all of the professors, everyone that was in that citadel was killed during the takeover.
I'm sorry, I may cry.
It's okay. A lot of people has been crying tonight. It's a night of a lot of loss. Think about it, you and your brother. Grow your family, not just with him, but with the Zeal. And if you want to leave, then you leave. If not, you have a family. And chance of finding your own family.
Justice.
And he just walks off, leaving you standing in the hall.
We are family. I got all my sisters in.
Yes, you do.
Oh, my back. By this time, you've made your way back into the room.
Oh God, I actually started to cry.
Elron and Pops are in the room. Lamar is in the room with his raccoon. Sibo is sitting there looking kind of sad. And as you're walking towards the room, you go in and immediately a giant mastiff walks in behind you.
I knew you'd come!
Sibo, who's this?
This is... Lancelot.
Lancelot.
Yes.
I didn't realize that you were so happy when she walked in the room.
Lancelot?
A dog.
She?
Oh,
I thought.
you were talking about the dog. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Gosh. Oh my goodness. Yeah, everybody, I have someone I want you to meet. Lancelot.
It looks around and then it turns and walks back out of the room.
Yeah, he's shy.
Oh, hey, doggy.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Sibo, I've seen
As he's leaving, he hawks up a leg and he pees on the door.
Hey, doggy.
You know, he just does that sometimes.
Then he walks off.
You know, Sibo.
What? Victorio leans the door open. Okay, guys. You guys have too many animals in here. Ferrets, tigers, raccoons, and now a dog.
Technically, one of them is my familiar.
Which one?
Doggy.
The dog.
Not this list.
Somebody's going to have to clean this up.
What?
Lamore, Master Vance would like to speak to you, please.
Somebody give Sibo some rags.
His study is where he is. Yes.
In the hallway.
And on the way out, I'm gonna go. Sibo, you need to clean that up.
Yes.
No, it is not my responsibility.
Sibo, it is.
That's,
Victoria looks directly at you and he's like, yes, it is.
What?
that's your familiar. It's your problem.
I clean up after Rocky whenever I was house.
And then he walks off.
I'm gonna freeze the pee. The frostbite.
Oh,
So you make your way to his study. And you walk in and see basically the same things that I described earlier. Vance is standing there and he's drinking a glass of wine.
You wanted to see me?
Oh, Lamore. Come on in. Come on in. You want some wine?
No, I'm good.
Okay. He slides a sheet of parchment up toward you.
Okay. What's on it?
Lucky. I guess you don't hear that name that your adopted parents gave you too often.
No, I don't.
You pick it up and it's the wanted poster with your face on it.
Yes. That is recently kind of light.
Of course, the Zeal is known for quite some time. We help each other. Over the past year, I've had your traveling companion Elron in Caban, trying to figure out exactly what went wrong. What happened, and trying to piece together how Lamort came into power over your father. shut the city off to the Queen. He shut the city off to the Zeal. Queen Arlana is not happy, and we need to fix the problem. I've offered Elrond, and I'm offering you and Sibo to be raised up into the Zeal immediately upon my rise to Grandmaster. I've spoken to the other companions of your traveling group, and I'm offering them positions in the Zeal. I want your team to set off to collect some artifacts for me to help with a project that Grandmaster Zeta has started and that I intend to finish. During this, though, we will work on getting Caban back into the Empire. I'm sorry, into the Queen's good graces, as you should say. She really hates it being called an Empire. But it did not take long to figure out why your father stepped down. To figure out what broke him. Any man would be broken after the loss of his wife, but to find out that his own son that he raised was at fault. He takes a drink of his wine again. Yeah. You should have taken his place. You should have been there to become the new mayor of Caban. Not saying that you might want that responsibility. Free-spirited and all as you are. Still yet. That post is yours. We will be helping you reclaim it at some point.
Checking.
Do you know the coincidences of my time in Caban? Do you know why I left?
I do. Elrond knew that he was looking for information on Loki. He did not know that Loki was you until recently. Sauron, your father. I'm hoping that we can save him before it's too late. What I've seen and heard is the emotional state and the mental state may not be much left to save, but his physical body, perhaps. I just wanted to speak to you about it. I appreciate everything you're doing for the Zeal. He reaches out his hand, sets down the wine to shake yours, and he pulls you into the half hug.
Shake his hand. And I just leave without a word. Just go with him.
You shut the door, and as you do, he's picking up his wine glass again. To whatever else then he drinks, you wouldn't know because you've left. And you make your way.
Cool. I just make my way back to the group.
And by this time,
I'm still choking, like I'm still coughing. Hold
Arlen and Rocky have made their way back to the room. Serena has made her way back to the room. And everybody is basically in the room at this point.
Am I done cleaning the pee?
Yes. You have successfully cleaned up the peas. Successfully cleaned the peas.
Hassan Pfeffer.
I just want everybody to know that I did it by using frostbite and scraping it off.
Some yellow slushy right there.
Hey,
You don't have to whisper.
Fine.
okay.
Don't confuse
Can I try to hide, like, whenever he's not looking and pee on the floor?
Yes, please make a stealth check.
Arlen!
In the same spot.
I'm about to give up.
He's gonna be 20.
15.
Oh!
Make a perception check.
Wait,
What's your passive perception?
it's like
Can I make a perception check?
okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people's going to see this. He will.
I was gonna say, can I replace him with his thing with the 2 that I
Yeah.
rolled?
You watch Arlen walk over and start peeing in the floor in front of everybody.
Hey Arlen,
Way to go, King of the Mountain.
King of the mountain.
I'm gonna hand him.
Everybody sees this, by the way.
Looks like he really needs that porcelain throne.
As you're peeing, you hear, and you look down the hall, and there stands a Mastiff looking at you.
I'm gonna pull out my sword and make sure it's loud as I pull it out.
And in your head you hear,
brother.
Hey,
Can I
Lancelot.
like
And
run?
then I'm gonna walk over to him.
Can I run
where are you running to?
anywhere? But
You run past the dog.
I'm okay with the dog. He has a sword.
Sicko boy.
If the dog had a sword, then I'd be scared.
Arlen, are you running in midstream?
Sure. I hope I don't slip.
All of a sudden, the room is a slip and slide.
Okay,
You did want the Mastiff to play jokes,
I'm
right?
just gonna go back.
as you're running and the streamline of urine is following you, you're looking back, making sure Pops is not following you. And all of a sudden, you smack into what feels like a mountain. And you turn, and Vittorio is standing right. You got to be kidding me.
Oh man.
I expect that from a beast with 4 legs. But you are a bipedal, intelligent person. Dragonborn.
Intelligent.
Intelligent may be stretching it.
You're not there. Clean this up. This is not the night for this, with everything going on.
You just have a funeral, man.
Oh, there was a dog. I'm so sorry.
Yes, apparently it belongs to one of your people. Clean up the piss! And he turns and walks away.
Hey, doggy.
Man.
Hi, dog.
Are you cleaning up the pee?
No, but yeah. Yeah, I probably should do
In
that.
my mind, I'm gonna think at my Mastiff. I'm gonna be like, listen, man, you can't pee in the floor. If we gotta.
He interrupts you. The funny thing is that you can tell me what I can and cannot do.
I can't tell you what you can and cannot do because I can't.
Apparently you don't know how this works.
How does this work? I thought it was about trust, right? Trust goes both ways.
The Mastiff walks by and looks in the room. You make eye contact, and then it just keeps going.
Just keeps peeing.
No, he's just walking.
Keeps going.
I'm going after it.
As you cut around the corner,
It would appear that the roles are reversed.
Oh my god.
That he's the master and you're the pet.
Listen,
you cut around the corner, and Kassaw is coming up the hallway, and he's just like, that's new.
Okay, here we go.
Sibo,
hello.
could you go out to the northern gardens, please? Master Vance wants to speak to you.
I get here, boy. Come on, I'm going to. I don't even care. I'm just gonna go to the gardens.
And I'm gonna say, hey Lancelot, have you fed your pet yet?
Hey, Pops, you're old. You don't have.
Not yet, but I will. You guys see Kassaw come up. You're the only one that heard that.
What did
You
he
guys
say?
see Kassaw come up and look in the room, and he's like, good night, everyone. And he just keeps on walking.
What did the Mastiff say?
Who pissed in the floor? And then he sees you clean up. The dog?
Yeah.
Ow!
And he just walks by and keeps on going.
It's a thing.
See, we got a faulty Mastiff.
I'm
You know
gonna
what?
poop in the floor next time.
What?
Well, a lot of people are going
Huh?
to go see Master.
That out of character.
He's not walking.
Have you been going to see? Am I the only one that hasn't seen him today?
Oh, goodness.
You make your way.
By any chance, did the Mastiff follow me?
You make your way outdoors to the northern end of the Zeal.
Okay.
Once there, you see Master Vance standing by the doorway. Sibu,
Hello?
hey, walk with me.
Sure.
You go out, and it's a beautiful garden. You've been here a couple of times since you've been at the Zeal. Pretty flowers. Water and sunlight grows flowers. You start making your way through.
Intelligence. Anyway.
You guys walk, and then finally you come to a bench, and Master Vance sits down. And he crosses his legs, flows out his robes just a little bit. My young friend, sadness befalls our society tonight. Jen Zeta was my mentor. You see a tear actually start forming. The third of my teachers I've seen fallen. The third of which I love dearly. When I was 12 years old, my mother and I lived in Flan. It was a city on the borders of Fleeth. Don't rack your brain. The continent nor the city remain. It is now known as Hesphon. The continent... I'm sorry. He wipes his eyes. It's where the Shade King rules.
Shade King?
The southern side of Hesphon. The one who killed Master Zeta. I digress. My mother, she was teaching me how to do arcane arts as soon as I reached manhood. And at the age of 25, I watched the city rise as one. And under a brainwashed leader, they drug her away from our home into the city square, and they tied her to a post. They burned her. Flan smelled of my burning mother that night for hours. They called her a whore, a she-devil, a witch. We know these things now as just manipulating energies, arcane nature. People don't crucify clerics and priests because what they do is God-given. To me, it's wrong. To me, I don't believe it. The world has changed so much. Cebu, have you ever heard of the ministry?
Yeah.
Ministry.
Yeah.
The vile sorcerers that believe that we're products of evil, believing that we shouldn't have the strength or the will to manipulate the arcane.
Yeah, I know the ministry.
Calling it the true source. They tied my mother to that post in the center of town and burned her. Judgment for witchery. The smell of her dying scent was in my hair as I laid outside of the city under a bush hiding. I smelled her on me. I had nightmares for years.
Yeah.
She wouldn't give him the satisfaction. She wouldn't confess anything. She didn't cry. What she screamed was not screams of agony. It was screams of a woman being in her prime and hating what the town had turned to. Oh, they used to go to her. Fix this, help with this, make this person fall in love with me. But in the span of 12 months, he changed all their minds. After I escaped, I went on a mission and I found the one who taught my mother. A temple known as the Black Spire that laid in the Sheldamore Valley. It's also now gone, a relic of time in the ministry's hand. But my mother served there as a priestess of the Black Spire in her youth. Her teacher, Moxloff, he was still the head of the temple. There I continued training and learning how to harness the true source. 200 years I lived among them. It fell under attack by the ministry and by the Shade King. I was ashamed to admit, but I fled. I ran once again. I hid once again. When the eyes of the man who set fire to my mother, when they made contact with mine, I knew I was going to die. I was frozen, I was scared. And as soon as my legs could move, I ran. I made it to the Freelands, traveling by night, hiding during the day. I happened to run out of provisions. I took care not to use magic. I knew that it would be like a beacon calling to them to find me. Many days and nights I sat in hunger under the stars. Prayed to the moon weaver. Prayed to the platinum dragon. Bahamut wasn't going to help me. There was even times I thought about praying to Tiamat and Falazar. But no, it's not in me. I fell into the Bastard Lands. It was probably about 3 months after I had fled the temple. What's known as the Freelands now, and that's where he found me. That's where he healed me, making me whole again. Jin Zeta was there. That man was a great man. He was halfway through the construction of the Zeal of Freedom at that time. It was I want to say, I think it was like 5 years after the battle where Kasa killed all the ministry that he could out there in the Freelands. I met Kasa shortly after Zeta took me to the Zeal, and I helped him finish the construction of the Zeal of Freedom. Kasa and I became good friends. I helped him rise through the ranks as I did. We worked hard. We put our soul into it. Look at us now through friendship and loyalty and brotherhood, but mostly through love. He sits for a long time being quiet.
Look, I understand what you're going through. My parents too were murdered by the ministry. I mean, I'm sure, but I'm not sure. I'm sorry. It's just a lot right now. I'm sorry for your loss.
There was a lot of loss.
He was a great man.
That he was. What do you say about doing me a favor? I spoke to Elron a little more and the remainders of your party. What if I would told you that Jin Zeta had found a way to bring back life?
It's kind of dangerous.
He had figured out how to tap into the true source to give back positive energy of living. Wouldn't it be something to bring back somebody you loved, somebody you miss?
Join the doctor's side.
How can you?
Artifacts. There's a number of artifacts around Samoria. Done correctly, using a spell that I have found in some books that I've acquired. Jen said sent me forth to find a few years ago. Wouldn't it be cool to have him back?
Yeah, it would.
It'd be good to have my mother again.
What kind of artifacts are we talking about here?
Some of them gifts from the gods during the First Wars, I guess some people call it. Some of them are just things that primordials created. Some things are things that gods have handed down.
How many of them are there?
Oh. The ones I need, there's probably 7 or 8.
Do you know where they are?
There are some weird sounds out here in this garden.
It's okay.
I think those bees are back.
What?
I think those bees are back.
Do you know where?
The bees are?
No. Yes.
No, probably near the petunias. I don't know.
Julia's.
Yeah, I don't
They're
know.
beautiful, whatever. Anyway, where are the artifacts at? Do you know?
No, I do not.
Do you have leads?
I do not. I have people working on that though.
How?
But we'll come back to that. You, Elron, and Lamore are to be raised in the Zeal immediately upon my rise to Grandmaster. I've offered the extension of the Zeal to your companions. If they take it, it'll be... I think your group will be a force to be reckoned with, no matter where these artifacts are.
We got some pretty powerful people.
You have a king. You have an old man that doesn't know anything about himself. You have a fugitive that should be sitting in a mayor's home.
The cat.
Yeah.
I have one more question. When we bring them back, how? Who's to say that someone doesn't take that power and use it to do more bad?
But we won't let them. That's the point of getting them to the Zeal. We keep them out of the hands of the other people.
Said, even mine, yours. Nobody's immune to going mad with power.
True.
I'm not saying that you would, and I'm not saying that I would, but who's to say? Whenever.
Well, that's why we hold each other accountable. You, I, you.
Do we tell others about this, or do we keep it?
You tell whoever you trust whatever you feel they need to know.
Listen, let's just keep this between us for now. Who else knows?
No one knows what the artifacts can do. They just know that there's artifacts that the Zeal needs to get a hold of.
Alright, well, for now,
I'm not even 100% sure that the spell would work. It was lost text that we've happened upon.
for now, it's best if we don't really talk about it that much. It could raise a lot of bad suspicions.
Have you ever heard of Nerul?
I have not.
Do you know why you have not?
I suppose not. No. Why have I not heard of it?
Because she was a goddess that was replaced.
By who?
The Raven Queen.
And you said Nerul?
Yes. She was once the one that lorded over the dominion of death and life and transition.
Was she good? Or bad?
She was neutral. Is there really good in death and life? There's a balance that she kept. The Raven Queen keeps. But the spell is supposed to convince the Raven Queen to bring back the existence of life. But it takes the right artifacts for it to work.
I grab my staff.
Is that your dog that you were saying you have?
That's the ferrets.
Those Anyway,
Rocky's like outside of like a ball.
I hold up my staff and I'm something like this.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's you said it would require something powerful enough to actually cast it, right? Like sort of like a. Is that what you said?
No, the artifacts.
The artifacts.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Sorry.
my ferrets were being really loud, and I sort of got distracted.
I don't understand why you keep them in your robes. It's got to be very uncomfortable and
I don't
itchy.
sit anymore.
Shoots them out. Attack ferret, go.
Yes. Thanks for bringing this to my attention. But like I said, it's best if we just don't tell anybody about this for now.
Don't tell anyone you saw tears in my eyes either.
I would never. You would kill me.
Oh, I could,
I know.
but I'm not like that. I've seen enough death.
I'm gonna reach out to shake his hand.
Oh, my boy, and he pulls you in and hugs you.
Oh, that's a hug. All right.
Master Death will probably want to see you before he leaves.
Yeah. Can I go talk to him tonight, or is that is
Not
he asleep?
tonight. The Queen is having meetings.
I felt bad whenever she came through. I didn't really recognize her at first.
Yeah, well, I'm sure she'll speak to you about that eventually.
Oh man. Do you think she would believe that I was blind?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, we're the shot. Anyway. Good night.
But when you toss the dice into the world of fortune, you never know how they'll land. And he just starts walking back.
I mean, at the end of the night.
We're gonna have the exterminators come in to kill whatever this is.
Those are okay. Do I see my mastiff anywhere?
No. And Master Vance is now walking back through the gardens away from you.
I think your master can probably take care of himself. It's the ferrets that you need to be more concerned with.
The day is the 11th.
The new day or
The new day will be the 11th. Everybody is in the room. Is there anything you would like to do before bedtime?
Say my evening prayers.
She goes dog feeding the floor again.
Ask for Bahamut to.
Forgive you for everything.
He didn't see it this time, so he'll believe it. It's how that works.
I was gonna say I'd like
But tell him when he gets there.
to pray that Bahamut would help me in making my decision.
do you want me to do my 2 rolls
Where is it?
for the new?
Over someone's bed.
Sibo, when you return to the room,
Sibo, what's the puddle beside your bed?
you notice a water puddle next to your bed. And it smells of urine.
Probably need to clean it up.
Arlen, it wasn't you, was
You're
it?
right. I probably should, and I'm going to get down on my hands and knees and clean it up.
What?
With what?
I'm gonna frostbite it and scrape it off.
Oh, okay.
Reject.
Did you make the new puddle?
Do I hear that?
No.
You're all in the same room.
But just be like, listen, I don't care who made the puddle. I'm cleaning it up, and I'm not saying anything.
I mean, he cleaned
I'm
up
sorry.
his puddle.
I'm pretty sure he's lying.
Listen, please, just it's
He
fine.
does care.
I'm cleaning it up.
I've been in meditation, praying.
You know what? I really didn't ask you.
Do you remember Garpy?
Anyway, how was your meditation?
I love him.
You clean up the urine.
Get ready for the day and very excitedly go meet.
No, this is not time. Everybody's getting ready to go to bed.
Then I've got a little run upstairs.
Sounds a little
I'm gonna make a bookmark.
I, of course, write down very, very excitedly about everything that I saw.
Are you caressing your new sword?
They're terrible.
Pops. Pops, are you caressing your new sword?
They're terrifying parents.
Don't be cut.
Now you have to attune to rat. Yes.
Yeah.
So have you
I
attuned
figured
to
that I've been attuned.
Okay. Are you doing anything else before bed, Lamore? You doing anything else before bed?
So what's my out? What's it to you?
I'm gonna take out one of the flowers from the chest and I'm gonna hold it there. Yeah. Just gonna kind of hold it there and just kind of reflect and then put it back in and go to bed.
Elron, are you doing anything else before bed?
I'm going to hit the latrines and, make sure everything is cool with my armor and not really much.
And everybody goes to rest for the evening. Guys, let's take a break for a moment.